Welcome to Setting Up Your Day. Today's topic is you are not a failure. You may have failed, but you are not a failure. That was a moment in your life, that was one season, and that doesn't determine your future. Don't let that mistake define who you are. If you go around wearing negative labels of divorce, addiction, failure, and compromise, it will keep you from the fullness of what God has in store for you. People will try to define you by your mistakes. They will try to stick labels on you, remind you of all the times you failed and the times you compromised, the times you didn't measure up, and sadly, some people will choose to remind you of failures more than your victories. Don't let people label you. Don't allow them to determine your destiny. They cannot stop what God has ordained for your life. The only person that can stop you is you yourself. God is not judging you by one mistake, by one bad season. That is what happened to Moses as a young man. God gave him the dream that he would deliver the Israelites out of slavery. He knew he was supposed to do it, but he got in a hurry and did it out of God's timing. He saw an able slave being mistreated by an Egyptian supervisor. He killed the supervisor. He had to flee for his life. He spent 40 years on the backside of the desert in hiding. It looked like that one mistake stopped his destiny. He must have been thinking, Moses, you have failed. You are a failure. What were you thinking? Why are you so impatient? You blew it. That might have been his thought. But hear this, people of God. God doesn't judge us by one mistake or by two mistakes, or for some of us by 10,000 mistakes. God's calling on your life is irrevocable. He doesn't change his mind. Moses had given up. He had accepted that he would never accomplish his dream. Sometimes we can forgive others more easily than we forgive ourselves. Don't let what you have been through paint the rest of your life. God will not have allowed it if it was going to keep you from your purpose. Whether you brought the trouble on yourself or whether the Spirit led you into the desert, doesn't matter. Learn to forgive yourself. Quit beating yourself up or being discouraged over what didn't work out. One thing is sure, mistakes do not cancel destiny. God doesn't define us by our mistakes. He refines us by our mistakes. He takes our failures or wrong turns and uses them to do a work in us. God has already taken into account every mistake we would make. Don't be alive if there wasn't something awesome in your future. Why don't you take off all negative labels and put on some new label and then declare this boldly? I am not defined by my mistake. I am defined by what God says about me. I am forgiven, I am redeemed, and my past is over. My mistakes are behind me. God's mercy is new every morning. I receive that mercy and I move into the great plan God has for me in Jesus' name.